Everyone, and welcome to Vince's View here on Sports Radio WNML.com. I am Vince Ferrara. Another edition of Vince's View on video. You know, in the last couple, we focused on Tennessee, what Butch Jones and Tennessee players had to say to my questions to them at SEC Football Media Days. Also on the last one, on the SEC East, what the rest of the division had to say to my questions at Media Days. I also asked a bunch of questions to everyone from the SEC West as I was on hand for all of those player interviews. Here's a look at SEC Media Days from the SEC West in Vince's View.
So what do you think about all the talk about how good the quarterbacks are right now in the SEC and being a part of that conversation?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's an incredible opportunity for myself. I've gotten a chance to meet a couple of them and build a relationship with some of them. So it's cool to also see them succeed and get praised. So I like seeing others succeed as well.
You bonded with any of those guys?
Yeah, Jacob Eason's been my friend for a while.
So is there more of an emphasis for you guys to be more balanced on offense and really run the ball effectively?
Yeah, that's something we did this offseason. We had Jordan Wilkins, who sat out last year. Came in and really had a great spring. He really boosted our running game, and I think that's going to give us a good balance.
It's a lot of wide receivers, spring games, spring practices that stood out. How exciting are some of those guys?
So exciting. You know, that group of guys is unbelievable. So young as well. There's so much time to grow, and their ceiling is so high. In high school, you're used to throwing to one or two guys, and now you can literally pick out on the field 4 or 5 guys that you can possibly throw to that you know are probably going to be open.
How fast with this offense that you have this year, the emphasis, do you want to be the fastest in the country? Do you think you'll be in contention for that?
Yeah, that's something that we pride ourselves on in this spring. You know, we want to be fast, kind of catch the defense off rhythm. So.
Trey, describe what CEO of the defense, what all of that entails.
CEO of the defense, Coach Steer made that up, and I just went along with it. I guess it's the guy that provides great leadership, and I expect the same thing from all the other players around me. If I'm doing everything the right way and I'm working hard in the weight room and in the classroom, I demand excellence from Deshaun Davis, Troy Williams, Jason Smith, Steven Roberts. I demand excellence from every single one of them. So I'm the CEO of my own company. So I'm the CEO of my friends, my teammates.
You've seen that young group of wide receivers, all those highly rated guys from last year. How much different or better do you think they'll be this year in the second year?
They'll be a lot better because everyone knows the more and more you play this game, you'll get better adjusted to it. The speed of the game will slow down tremendously, so they'll get things done and they'll be in a lot better shape than what they were last year.
And the D-line group, compared to I know you lost some guys from last year, but you guys still have a lot of depth. How good can that D-line be to help you guys out?
The D-line is going to be very good this year. Coach Gorner does a great job of coaching those guys up. He's one of the best coaches that does it, and the D-line is no problem. That'll be taken care of.
Trey, what do you think of the targeting rule in college football?
That targeting rule it's a rule that helps with safety precautions and stuff like that, and of course safeties and DBs like myself don't really like that rule, but that's not up for me to discuss. It doesn't matter what I think, that's their call. So I mean, if it's the right thing to do, then it is what it is.
How tough is that? Do you even know what it is? I mean, do you feel like it changes from game to game based on like what the officials see?
It's definitely hard to tell what it is because it does change, and it kind of depends on the offensive players. Their head goes back sometimes. Sometimes you don't even have to hit them helmet to helmet. Just seeing their reaction and their head going back from the force. It makes it seem like it's targeting, but sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. I mean, take the good with the bad.
Christian, Coach Sumlin mentioned that your motto this year is no excuses. Just listening to you talk, it sounds like you're taking that to heart. How important is that to the next step for Texas A&M to not have any excuses?
It's a big step, and no other team in the SEC uses those excuses. Alabama doesn't use those excuses. LSU, all the other top teams in our division don't use those excuses, and we shouldn't either. Every team goes through the same type of schedule. toughness-wise, and we all have to go out there on Saturday and win. And for us, it's just developing that mental toughness. And each week we talk about that. We have different pillars of key points that we try to hit. And toughness was our one this week. We just help build one another and make sure we're physically and mentally tough, especially going into the season.
Christian, Tennessee is a team that rotates as your East opponent this year. You guys go to Knoxville and Neyland Stadium.
Right.
As a student athlete, how important is it to your experience to get to go to different venues? Because some venues you may not get to experience.
Right, and Tennessee is a great venue. They're a great football team. So I think it's something when you go to the SEC, you get to go to great places like that. When people away come to Tiger Stadium, people consider that one of the best stadiums in the world with other ones. And if you look at stuff like that, it's a huge opportunity. You go to Knoxville, it's a great football team with a great stadium. And I think it's a great recruiting factor as well. You get to tell these players, listen, you get to go to great places, you get to go to NFL stadiums, not just these college great facilities. So I think it's something when you're a coach, it's a great recruiting factor as well.
Are there things you need to know or tendencies to when he is? You have your blocking assignments, but then times where he's just improvising and you want to block for him to open up lanes. How does that adjustment work?
I know he's going to make the best play for the team, so it's really nothing I worry about. I just try to make sure I do my job, and I know he's going to go out there and make a great play for us to win.
What do you expect Mississippi State this year? How good do you think you guys will be?
All I can say is just watch. We're working hard. We back behind the curtains doing what we got to do, working hard, grinding hard every day.
Dan Mullen looks like he has an unusual level of swagger, of confidence. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. He brings that swag, and it falls back on us, I feel like I need to catch up to his swag with the shoes. I'm kind of behind right now, so, I need to go out and, do a little looking for myself.
He's not a typical wide receiver in his mentality, right? He seems like more of a defender or a linebacker type of a mentality, or is that fair?
I guess you could say that, but when it's time to be when it's work to be done, that's he's gonna get it done. Like I said, he's one of the hardest workers on our team. I feel like he's probably speaking on that. If he ever had to go play defense, I feel like he's gonna give it everything he got. Because that's just the type of person he is. Like, it doesn't matter where you put him at, he's gonna give it everything he got.
What were some of the specific things initially that have impressed you about Tua coming in as a freshman?
He's got a great arm. He's a competitor. He's a great athlete. He'll be good for us in the future. But we have to. All of our guys are like that. Like they press the envelope. They push it. If you don't, you're going to be left in the dust.
Sorry if you were asked this earlier. What excites you about your Texas A&M defense this year?
Really, the way I've seen us work this offseason, especially this summer, the competition between everybody, and then we're having fun out there, and we know what we're capable of, and we can't wait to prove what we can do on the field.
Give me a breakout player, both sides of the ball, that you've seen for this year.
I can give you a lot of them.
All right.
On both sides.
Okay.
We got Kelsey Carper, Derek Tucker, Jamal Osborne, Hezekiah Jones. We got players everywhere that's ready and young. They're young, but they're showing that they're ready to compete in this league.
What's John Chavis like to play for?
Oh, he's a great coach to play for. He gets rowdy during practice. He gives us some intensity and hard-nosed football. That's what he loves. That old school football.
Describe rowdy. What's an example of? What's an example of John Chavis being rowdy?
Just he'll get on you and then come to you and be like, talk to you about the same thing. He's like, I just wanted you to understand how important that was. It's just like an old school coach, one of those old school coaches that will get on your butt, but then come talk to you about it and sit you down and let you know what you did wrong, and then really help you out. He's a great coach, along with Coach Ron Cooper, who's coached with him. Great DB coach too.
What do you recall about the Tennessee game last year? The way that ended, the pick in overtime, all that.
Just a late play. We watched it over and over during the week during practice. Ran it a million times, and they actually ran the play earlier in that game. And just knowing that it was coming again, I just when he got it.
From practices, do you notice are there little just different sets of plays for each of the quarterbacks, sort of to get them in their comfort zone, or is it pretty much the same playbook for any of those guys that you're blocking for?
Yeah, they make little adjustments, but they're really it's pretty similar for all three. They're trying to figure out whose strengths are what and then who's doing what. So we get a pretty wide variety, no matter who's in there, and it'll be interesting to see who wins the job. All three of them are really talented quarterbacks and have different strengths, and so it'll be exciting.
Braden, who are some guys in off-season workouts that have impressed you, either side of the ball, that you've seen or at least heard about?
I mean, I spend most of the time around the offensive linemen right now, but the way they've approached, I've been really impressed, all of them. Like I was talking about before, they've come in and take upon themselves to work and learn their offense. I've never had any problem with them coming in and getting extra work. I've never really had to get after them. So they've been coming very mature, and they're ready to work and earn a spot.
Some people have said, I've heard some analysts say that maybe your D-line can be even better this year because of all the guys. When you've gone up against them, how good can that group be?
They can be as good as they want to be. They got the talent, that's for sure. I mean, especially watching last year, we got a lot of those guys back. It's just how much do they want it? I think it'll really show this year. I think they'll have another great year like they did last year. Lots of great players, young players too, that may have not played as much last year that are playing a lot now and really going to step up.
Daniel, how closely do you guys chart kicks in practice? Are there only certain periods and sessions where they're tracking you, or other times where you just do it on your own that's not factored in? How does that work?
It's a little of both. So most practices we start off with about 8 field goals with the whole team, and kind of do offense or field goal block and field goal unit together, and get some live reps. And not every rep is live off the edges, just for safety. You don't want guys coming off the edges into the kicker or anything. But we do that, and we take that very seriously, and that's something Coach Malzahn takes pride in. Helping me, have the most success I can by, getting as many live reps as I can in practice. So we'll do that, and then, most of the practice, though, after that, we're kind of on our own until special teams periods. But like I said, that's when we kind of just have to take our own, do it on our own, go on that backfield and make sure we're getting all the work we can in so that we're ready for those live reps during the games.
I know you want to make all your kicks, but 50-plus yards, even in practice, what's your goal on make percentage from distance?
It's hard to say. I haven't written usually during the first day of fall camp I'll write all my season goals, and I'll give it a number, and then I try to put that away though till the end of the year, because you don't want to really be thinking about those numbers while you're kicking in the middle of the season. But usually I want to try and stay around 75% or above from 50, and that's sometimes harder to do because I might only get 2 kicks, so if I miss one of them, that's a tough way to come back. But those 50-yarders, those are always fun, and that's always kind of extra, and it can help a team a lot. But it's inside of 50 that is the real important ones, because that's where you're usually kicking from. And that's where, the team really needs you to make sure you get those points.
That's a look at my questions to the players in the SEC West in Vince's View. Stay with us here at sportsradio.WNML.com. Check back for more in Vince's View on my blog here on the website. Thanks for joining us.